Alright, I guess we are live now. Just a second. There will be some background noise today because there's some work going on. So, alright. If I'm audible, let me know in the chat, guys. If my voice is clear, if it's fumbling, then there's no other thing. Alright, it's audible. Alright, cool. So, we'll let more people join in. There's a lot of noise outside my house. There's some work going on. So, kindly, you'll have to bear with it. And we'll let more people join in and then we'll start discussing the market. Alright. We'll let some more people join in. Give me 1 second, I'll just post on the Insta and we'll keep going. You can send your doubts in the chat. In the meanwhile, I'll check them out. TCS for short term, alright. आपका course कब से है? आपका course next week से the registration will start. I'll update on my Instagram. Don't worry about it. Alright. I'll update it on my Instagram. On the next week, the registrations will start. TCS for short term, I'll check it out. Just a second. Give me 1 second. Alright, BLS, we'll check out all the stocks. First, let's discuss about the market. I think enough people are already here. We're working with 17 people. Right. So, India 50 USD. What is going on in India 50 USD? So, you see, it opened somewhere here, right? It opened somewhere here, I think. The pre-open started somewhere here. And my view for the weekend, this was the weekend, right? Somewhere here. This was 29th. This was basically 28th. This is where Friday closed. So my view was if this supply starts getting taken out, we'll see a move till here, all right? And now in the morning, what has happened is this supply was taken out. What's going on? Yeah. So really sorry for the background noise. So the view that the supply would be taken out, it happened as soon as the index opened in the morning at 6 a.m. and then it shot straight up to the previous supply. So now when you're seeing such kind of a structure, you want to first see how extended you really are. You're really extended in the morning here, right? So a lot of people, if they were watching the chart of Nifty, in fact Nifty was also extended. They might have thought that this will lead to a breakout because this supply, the index is sustaining at this supply, but in fact there is actually the index has not sustained at this supply yet. You see there's one rejection and then it just rejected from the inner supply itself, right? So you always want to keep a track of where the 50 EMA is. All right, so here the 50 EMA was the index was far from the 50 EMA, right? So you want to mark a demand zone. So this is the demand zone. This is the last high. I'll just clear everything out. Just a second. All right. So this was the demand zone which made this last high. All right, there was no proper demand zone after it anyway, right? So when the index is trading here, you see you're very far. Even if your bias is on the long side, you're very far from an actual good entry. All right. So this is not the area where you want to take long trades. All right. You want to take long trades when the index comes here, and then you see some kind of a long structure building up. So never. This is not some any kind of pattern or contraction pattern which you're seeing. This is not the pattern where you want to go long, and you always want to keep a track of how far you are from the mean. And see, again, something like this happens. So whenever you are far from the mean, whenever you extend it, whenever you're far from the average, that is when most of the fake outs will happen in the market. All right, that is where everything will look like a fake out. But in fact, it's not a fake out. See, the system of breakouts. Suppose you watch breakouts like this. All right, someone else watches breakouts like this. So whatever system of breakouts a person incorporates or a person starts trading, that is actually very subjective. So if a breakout is subjective, there are no strict rules for a breakout. Then how can be a fake out not subjective? All right, so fake out is also subjective, right? So this is not necessarily people getting trapped here. All right. So you always have to keep this in mind. You do not want to judge these as fake outs, and then this is the reason why the move happened. The move happened because we were far from the previous accumulation area. That is the entire logic behind it. All right, not because of a little fake out here. So do not get lost in terminologies. All right, you always want to see how far you are from the previous base, and then what is your last demand zone, and of course the 50 moving average as well. All right. So right now you don't. There is no trade really in the index. It just spiked up from the demand zone. So what we want here is we want some kind of a pullback. The bias is still long until this is taken out. The bias is still long. So what we want here is we want a little pullback here, and then maybe some sideways move to judge where the index is trying to go next. Till then there is nothing. All right. Also, last session I discussed how you can short in intraday. All right. So I'll just pick up a few examples which I was watching since the morning. The first one was Vedanta. All right. So in Vedanta, you see this was the see it is already in a downtrend, right? So the bias is already downside. All right. So now you see this was the previous demand zone. All right, and this is again it's extended here. This is a 15-minute chart of Vedanta. All right. So this is extended. So you are at least looking for a move down till here, if not lower. All right. And on the previous day, you see it started coming here. So now when it comes to this demand zone, now there's a two-step process which I discussed earlier as well. You want to mark the demand, and then you want to mark the internal supply. All right. So this is the internal supply right here. So the internal supply wasn't taken out after multiple tries, and then today you saw a nice expansion towards the downside. All right. So this is a very easy framework. Kotak Bank was also there. I was wanting to short Kotak Bank somewhere here, but then it just fell straight down. So I did not want to take a risk of shorting so far, right? So I saw this demand zone failing. Wanted to short here, but then it was very far from the previous supply. So my stop would so a good short. I mean, a good stop loss would be way above from my level. So I did not short it. So something like this could have happened. The thing which happened in MCX, you see, this sharp pullback can happen till the previous supply, and then the thing can start falling again. All right. Whale was also on my watch, but again the same thing. It's extended. So you see it dip down straight into demand. This was the demand which it was taking out, right? So this was a really nice move, and it was a downtrending move. So it was not extended. Extended means somewhere here, right? On the uptrend side, and this was a downtrending move. So another point is, suppose you short here, right? Suppose you shorted bail, you saw this demand zone. All right. You saw this demand zone, and then you started shorting bail here when it started to violate this demand. All right. So you don't exit when it immediately test out the previous demand, because in intraday big money can only be made if you can ride trends throughout the day. All right. If you cannot ride trends throughout the day, then you will be stuck catching 1:1, just little moves which will not amount to any big money, because you're paying a lot of brokerage and taxes as well, right? So So you want to still, suppose if I shorted bail there, I would still hold it with my stop above this supply, all right, even though it's a bit extended, because I want to catch a bigger trend, all right. Now again, another example here. Look at how extended this is, straight into supply. This was the previous demand, and now when this demand starts getting taken out, you mark your supply here, and then you get your short till this demand at least, all right. All right, let's see. Idea was also there. I don't really know if it's going down or not yet. This was also there, but avoid trading penny stocks in intraday. All right, Fiber Web BLS. All right, we'll check those out. TVS Motors is also there. It's on my watch. Let's see if something happens here or not. This was the demand which is already taken out. So now there should be a nice flow towards the downside. All right. Let's see what happens in this. ABFRL. All right. Aditya Birla Fashions. There is nothing in Aditya Birla Fashions. In intraday, there is nothing. Let it go up. But daily time frame, yeah, this looks good. The demand zone is actually here, and it's the internal supply is somewhere here. This wick right here. So this looks good. You can look for entries here. Just make sure that you know that you're very far from the demand. All right. So you're very far from the low right now. So there's always a chance that this thing goes up to the supply and then comes down like this again. So be sure that you are prepared for that. All right. Give me 1 second. Right. Hotel stocks are setting up. All right. Hotel stocks. What are some hotel stocks? Indian hotels. Let's see if they're setting up. They're setting. I think Indian hotels has already moved, and there was some demand here. 50 EMA is also there. So I wouldn't suggest some long here. All right. Indian hotel has already moved. Let's see this one. This one is all right. So I think we discussed this one sometime in the past. I don't really remember, but see, you want to wait for this contraction. So you always want to know where the price can go sideways, right? So you see, there's a contraction which I drew, and exactly that happened. So why is that? Because price is testing some external demand and this internal supply, right? So this is where the price will go sideways to take out one of these, and that is when you will get that up move. So these are already moving. They're not setting up. They've already moved. So avoid them. Voltas intraday short. All right. Why are you shorting here? Let's see. First of all, there was a supply here which has been taken out. All right. There was a supply here which has been taken out, and now it's pausing at this supply. So there will only be any short when this demand, if it shows some weakness around this demand, it's reacting and then it's staying at the supply. So I would not really suggest a short here. All right. The bias seems like it's bullish. Adani Enterprises intraday view. All right, let's check out Adani. Adani again, nothing. It's in a broad range. You don't want to deal with these stocks. The bigger move will come when a major range is getting taken out. Something like this. All right, you're getting stuck in range bound stocks, and then your stock is not moving. So this is the reason. It might fall down till here. All right, but what's the point? The bigger move will come when this kind of a demand is getting taken out. So you want to focus on these stocks which are trying to do this, right? The examples which I showed you. Any example you can take it, and see, don't want to short something like this, all right? Because it might react very sharply from here. So you're not exactly playing on the downside. You're just playing the range, right? But look at this on the other hand. look at something like this. This is a downtrend, then the pullback. So instead of deciding which supply will lead to a fall, you can just wait for the demand to be tested multiple times, all right, and then you can get your bigger move. So the big move will always happen below the demand, right? But there is only one problem with that, that when the stuff is below the demand, you are actually shorting a stock which has already fallen, right? So it's extended on the downside, so there can be a sharp pullback. Suppose you're looking at this demand, you're shorting here, so this kind of a pullback can happen. Then again, you want to look at some internal demand. So suppose a pullback happens, and then you want to look at this demand. When this starts getting taken out, again you get a move on the downside. All right. So keep following the price flow. Don't try to estimate which supply will hold the price, which demand will hold the price. All right. Don't try to estimate all that. All right. TCS for short term, Jamna Auto, ADF Foods. All right, we'll check out all those. Prime Securities. All right. This is good. This is good. Good stuff. This is good one. This is a good one. So this is your supply right here, and this is your demand right here. Right. So this is good. Um, you can definitely start buying this. This might go up. I mean, it's kind of illiquid, so not a suggestion really. Buy at your own risk. Blue Dart. Nothing yet. I told you the supply. Let the supply be tested. All right. The supply is already tested. Now you can look for your entries at some lower time frame demand. So maybe if it comes down to somewhere here, then you can get a move on the upside. All right. Still a good chart. Good one. M&M Finance for a long trade. All right. Um, if you're talking about intraday, there is nothing long here. All right. There is no long here. It's actually downtrending until the supply is taken out. And if you're talking about a swing trade, then there is no long here again. All right. It is trying to take out this supply, but avoid this. Probably this supply right here. Avoid this. You'll find much better structures. Yes Bank, what is happening to Yes Bank? Yes Bank is weakening. Yes Bank is getting weak. So you see this structure right here, when it just stays at the demand zone, it's getting weak. It might react, but you don't want to buy here. You see something like this again. So it's getting weak here. It might do a dip, and then maybe it depends if it reacts or not. So it's getting weak here. If you're holding, you should exit. At least exit half. All right, TCS for short term, I don't think you should buy it. All right, there's a ton of supply all the way here. So avoid this. Let the market get a bit better. All right, a lot of stocks. I mean, almost everything will be looking like this right now. Let it get a bit better. Previous specialty, again, a lot of supply. So last time I discussed these structures as well, that you don't want to trust these bounces. All right, because they formed a strong supply here. So until they go sideways, there is no proof that the supply is gone. All right. Prestige Estates. All right. Prestige Estates is still good. This is a good structure. Jamna Auto, again, same thing here. Very sharp rejections. Even when the index was going up on the past 3-4 days. So I would suggest you to stay away from this. To be honest. All right. So again, index is pulling back. Let's see. Buy it on the long side until this zone is taken out. ADF Foods. All right, let's check out ADF Foods. I will avoid this. I mean, this looks like it's holding. This looks like it's ready to go up. You can take it, but the only problem is the demand is very far away. So I personally don't like to trade these structures. All right, Tatva Chintam Pharma. Nothing yet. You see, we drew this demand zone like uh, weeks ago, and it's holding, but there's a strong supply here. So there's a strong supply here, and the demand is somewhere here. Right. So avoid this as of now. Hindustan Unilever. All right. Nothing on the daily chart. It's trying to go down. Nothing on the intraday chart. There is nothing in this. And this is a very weak structure. It will break down probably. Look at all these rejections right here. It's just trying to roll over like this. So avoid it right now. Until you see that this supply is getting taken out, there is nothing in this stock. All right, Gujarat Alkali. Let's check it out. Gujarat Alkali is good. Gujarat Alkali is also on my watch. It is good. It's also sustaining at this supply. So there's probably some early demand here. You can probably look for entries in this. This is a great structure. All stocks with Gujarat in front of them, in their name, they're good. ICICI Prudential shorted at 556. All right, let's check it out. Again, why did you short at 556? There is no point here. All right, this is why I advise against um, taking these trades, because this stock is already strong for the day. It's going up. So maybe it just stays sideways and then falls tomorrow. This is the problem with shorting at supply. You're going short on a strong stock, right? And this is the benefit of shorting when this is getting taken out. You already know if the index dumps, this is gone, all right? So I mean, cannot justify this entry. I cannot. I don't see any short here. If it works out, that's great. It's looking kind of weak. And if it works out, it's great. But I will never take this. Tata Investment. This is also good. You guys are picking up good structures. So supply is taken out, demand is holding. This is the internal supply. This can go up. Yeah, this is good. This is worth taking the risk. Home First, Finance, nothing here. It's downtrending, comfortably downtrending. Nothing here. PMRVL. I think this is very illiquid. I cannot really talk about it here. All right, Lincoln Pharma. Lincoln Pharma is all right. Promoters are buying here, so this is the reference demand actually. This entire area. So give it its time. The supply is still far away. If you're holding, you should hold it. There is no problem with it. Deepak Nitrite. Again, nothing in Deepak Nitrite right now. Nothing on the daily chart. Maybe something on the intraday chart. Maybe this is probably the last high. So we might see some downside, but you might find some more compact structures than this one. This is your reference supply right here. This one. So if this starts getting taken out, you should exit your shorts. Talking about intraday, it's already falling. All right. Reddington. Nothing in Reddington again on the daily chart as well. Daily chart. I mean, this is a very strong stock. It has always been a very strong stock. The only problem is that it is far from demand. All right, so that is the only problem. So probably something like this. You can find more compact structures. So you want to see more compact structures. This is still in a bigger range. So let it go sideways. ONGC on the long side on intraday. All right. Um, avoid, of course. There is nothing here. This is not a bull flag, all right? Don't take this. This demand might hold, but again, it's extended. So for the long, what you want to do on the long side is, let's see, right? So you want to see structures which are pulled back, all right? So let's see some example. Yeah. So you want to see structures which are pulled back to demand, and now, and there's a lot of space above them, and now they're taking out this demand, this supply, the internal supply. That is when you will get a move straight to the supply, all right? You don't want to buy here expecting a big move. That never happens. So again, you see this thing fell all the way. This was the internal supply. Now the demand starts to hold. So you expect a move till this supply. So this is how easy intraday is. All right. You just want to play it between the zones. Genius power for a swing trade. Let's check it out. Nothing. I mean, um, avoid this. There is nothing yet. Let this supply be tested. Then we'll see. I mean, it's kind of tested. You might see some move, but um, I mean, it depends. I on personally I would avoid this. Gmr Infra. All right, Gmr Infra. This demand is holding. We talked about this demand earlier as well. But again, there is a ton of supply buildup. You see, this is a fall. Again, this is a fall. So all these supplies, let them get tested. Let the structures get better. Then we'll see something. All right. All right. Axel Limited. I guess you're asking about this one. Nothing in this one. What are your views on IT stocks for the next year? How can someone give views for an entire year? Um, See, what is going on in IT stocks is this was a build up, all right. They were very strong somewhere here, all right, around when the entire market was falling, right. So now this entire range, you see which demand it is reacting from. It's reacting from this cluster of demand, all right, the one which it is holding right now. So the structure is not necessarily weak, right? Probably it came down to the weekly. Yeah, exactly. So it's coming down to the weekly 50 EMA. So the structure is not weak. Until the weekly 50 EMA is taken out, don't form any yearly bias. All right. You want to form an yearly bias when the structure is doing something like this, breaking out weekly 50 EMA sloping up. Then you expect some kind of move up, right? So again, came down to the weekly 50 EMA, previous base as well. Again, a move up, right? Then the COVID fall, and again when it started reclaiming this supply, again you had a multi-year uptrend. All right. So if you're looking for some investing framework, you always want to see the weekly 50 EMA. So you see the entire bull run happens above the weekly 50 EMA, of course. So never breaks this demand. All right. Again starts going up, right? And on the bear market, when it starts, demand starts to go, all right, and then there's an entire bear market of it, right? And then again now the demand is starting to go here. So we're not doing anything in the pharma sector, all right. Again, Nifty small cap as well. If you see, this was the weekly 50 EMA, breaks the demand. Again, bear market. The index fell. See, even if you do mutual fund investing, you can make a shit ton of money just by doing mutual fund investing. You just want to not buy in these areas. It's as simple as that. You don't want to buy in these areas when the index is clearly breaking down. All right, you might miss a few percent. Suppose you miss 10% on the upside. That's all right. You're at least not getting caught in something like 66% from here, right? It's 60%. So you're not getting caught here. All right. The proper time to buy in the market is here. Buy here, buy here. Then if it starts to go, exit here. You don't know how far it will go. All right. Exit here and then buy here again. Then enjoy all this. All right. So just because you don't want to miss this dip doesn't mean you'll stay for a 70% dip on the downside. All right. You're just wasting your time if you're doing that. So again, if you see weekly starts to go, an entire bear market, again buy here. All right. This does not mature into a bull run, starts breaking down, exit here. Right. It comes back up, buy here again. One time or the other, you are bound to make a lot of money. All right. No one made any money here in the market from 2011 to 2014. It's just about being safe, nothing else. All right, so that is what Nifty Small Cap is doing right now. Nothing bad necessarily. You want to catch the sugar rally, you are too late for that. You're too late for that. The sugar rally started last year. So I discussed this with people who were with me earlier. That sugar stocks had a lot of earnings growth, and this was the point where these supplies were getting taken out. So if you guys remember from, I mean, a few months ago, we talked about here, and this is where the entry was done in Balrampur Chini. So you're quite late, honestly, for the sugar rally. UBL, I'll check it out. All right, I'll check it out. So we talked about alcohol stocks. I think I mentioned alcohol stocks. They're performing well. They're doing all right. But again, there is this strong supply right here. So you want to wait for it to get taken out. All right. You want to wait for it to get taken out. Godavari Power, I think it's in a downtrend. Yeah, it's in a downtrend. This is trying to go up from this base right here, which is a good sign. But again, this is downtrending. So you might not get a move beyond this. So avoid this. You might find better structures. Let's check out what Nifty is doing. All right, so Nifty is pulling back. Let's see. The view was that it will go range bound here. That is what is happening. So there is no trade right now. The reference demand in Nifty is this one. This is the India 50 chart. All right, it's the overnight. It's the CFD. All right. So this is what you want to consider. This is the demand zone. So someone asked about Bajaj Finance for intraday as well. I'll check that out as well. Just a second. Bajaj Finance, again, nothing in Bajaj Finance. It's trading in the middle of nowhere. Avoid this. All right, Medicam and biotech. All right, cool. So yeah, this is a strong stock. All right, this is a strong stock. This is the demand zone, so you can look for entries with your stop below this low. Are you providing? Yeah, mentorship will. The registrations will start next week. You can drop a message on Instagram. I'll check them out. It's on the Instagram ID is my name itself. Rishabh.Tibrewal. GNFC has a good structure confused about swing entry. You don't have to time the entry to the point, all right, to the exact minute. You just want to know where is your reference zone which is holding the stock. This is your reference demand zone which is holding the stock. All right, so at this level, it's a bit far from the demand. So you buy accordingly. All right, you buy a little here, and then you see if it breaks out tomorrow itself or maybe today. Then you ride it with whatever entry you've taken. All right, but if it comes down and then starts going back up, then you add here again. So there is no process for an entire swing entry. You'll have to just play with the demand and supply zones, right? UPL, all right, I'll check out UPL. Yeah, UPL has pulled back. UPL is a very strong structure. You should definitely look for entries here. This is also taking out the supply. All right, the market is a bit extended right now. So if the market pulls back, you should definitely get in UPL. All right. So now suppose you see a structure like this, right? Where you see that this thing has broken this demand already, which was the first point. And now suppose you're holding shorts here from whatever level. So you want to see which zone is holding now. So you see this supply is about to get taken out. It has been tested multiple times. So it's a high chance that this will get taken out. And the demand has a lot of wicks here, right? A lot of V-shaped reactions, and the supply has a lot of sideways movement. So maybe the supply is starting to get taken out now. So you'll have to pick up clues where the stock is trying to sustain to manage your trade properly. All right, there is no holy grail for how to know that the demand or supply is taken out. You'll just get better with experience, nothing else. And also the market is turning bullish as well. So you see in this fall, this stock did not drop below the low. All right, this stock did not drop at all. So this is again a strong sign for the stock. Dollar Algotech. All right, let's check out what this is. Nothing is downtrending. We've already discussed this demand is actually holding, but until one of these supplies is taken out, there is no entry for me. RVNL has broken out of base and come back inside and make a base now. All right, let's come back inside and it is making a base now. It's not exactly making a base. It got rejected straight away from the supply here. All right, there's a big supply here. So now if you're seeing it on the hourly and if you're taking an entry here, your stop should be below this low. All right, because this is the structure which you expect that it will take out the supply. So wait for you can take an entry, keep a stop below this low, and respect the stop, because if this starts to go, then it will start falling. So don't become a long term investor if the market starts falling. All right. All right. Just a second, guys. Make sure you like the video. It helps with the algo, and share it as well in whatever server you are. Bank Nifty intraday. All right, let's check out Bank Nifty intraday. All right, so Bank Nifty, there was a short in the morning here. So I was looking at this. The supply was tested and demand was tested, and it was much weaker than Nifty because IT was going up. Right. So there was a short in the morning somewhere here, but I did not take it. So now it's reacting from this demand, right? But again, the structure is still bearish. So let the flow turn bullish. You take it out, and then we see something like this. So first you want it to take out this supply, then you want it to come back down, and then you want it to go sideways here. That is where you will get that up move. So this is a view for Bank Nifty. If it does not take out the supply, then again maybe same thing happens at the demand, and we can see further downside. So there is no view yet. There is no view. Structure is bullish, no doubt about it, but it's very range bound today. Instead, Nifty is much better actually. For a long, Nifty is much better. KPIT Tech, all right. Alchem Labs, I'll check out Alchem Labs. KPIT Tech, yeah, let it test out the supply. I talked about it. It's far from the 50 EMA as well. Don't want to buy these. Alchem Lab on the weekly chart is, see, there has already been a reaction here, right? It has tested out the previous supply area. So now you don't want to take it. All right, the first dip is the opportunity. Don't buy the second dip. Second dip, see, this structure and this structure is quite similar, right? So if you want to buy the second dip, you should wait for some kind of sideways narrow range candles like this, and then a move above can be bought. All right, so something like this might happen in trend continuation. So very low voice, cannot hear you. I think my voice is all right. I think it should be all right. Yeah, it should be all right. BLS again. Every day, someone asks about this stock, but again, I mean, it's good. The structure is good, right? But now, right now, there is no entry. So I think we've discussed this. That this was the demand where I was willing to take an entry. Did not come all the way down. So there is no entry for me here. All right. So Nifty is trying to head up. Let's see. This is the reference demand now. If this starts to get taken out, then you should not take longs for the day. All right, make money organics MOL. Right, so it's reacting from this demand again. This is the demand right here, which I discussed, and this is the supply. So it's still good. There is nothing wrong with it. It's still all right. The structure is bullish. And MFL, what happened to MFL? See, right, this is also good. Promoters are also getting in this one, so prefer this one actually. MFL. All right, Birla Soft. Birla Soft again. See, it looks good. All right, it looks good, but it does not mean anything because the supply is somewhere here. So maybe this can also happen in this stock. So avoid this. All right, avoid this. You want to, when you see a rounding bottom like this, you see a rounding bottom like this, you see it's right at the supply. So it means that some supply is taken out. So it will go to the next supply, again a rounding bottom, then it will break out. All right. So you want to see compact structures like this and not a bigger range like this. This won't work. It can go up, of course it can go up. I'm not saying it won't, but you can find better structures, very compact structures. Don't trade this. Electra Green Tech and Paras Defense for long term buy. Electra Green Tech, there was a good buying opportunity right here. Um, right now, I'd probably suggest that long term, see, long term you want to do at the 50 EMA, right? And by long term, I mean 1 or 2 years, or maybe 3 years, not for a multi generation portfolio, all right? So, so I'll just talk a bit about long term. You always want to see where the 50 EMA is and what the trend of the stock is. If you're making, suppose, a portfolio of 20 small cap stocks. So now see, when this was going sideways, the small cap index was actually dropping, right? So I'll just put the small cap index with this chart. Just a second. Right, so this is the small cap index right here. The one without the EMA is the small cap index, this one, and this is the chart of the stock. So now see, when the small cap index was in a bear market, this was not falling beyond this demand zone. All right. And so every time it starts to reclaim the 50 EMA, you want to buy it. All right. You want to buy it. And when the demand zone starts to go, that is when you want to exit. So of course, it will move only when the entire market gets into a bull run. Any long-term stock will move only then, right? So one time you'll get a big move. All right. So you will be safe from all this in the market. So I'll give you some example of the 2018 and 19 bear market in the small cap index. Let's see some examples. You see, you'll be safe from all this, even though the company fundamentals are good. It's always rejecting from the same area, so you're not trying to buy here at all. All right. So you see, you'll be safe from all this downside action. You'll be safe, and then the stock which starts to reclaim the high. I mean, quicker than this stock is actually not even falling in the bear market, right? It's going up. So when the stock actually starts to reclaim the highs again before the market does, that is when you know that it's about to go. All right, if the market stays stable. So that is how you buy long term. All right, so you see Naukri started to break down here. It stayed at this demand for some time, and then it did not take out this supply at all. All right, it did not take out this supply. So even if you bought here, then you should have exited when it started to take out this low. So this is a simple way you can just uh, do long term investing. You see Mindtree as well. Right here is your entry long term. Actually, I bought something here around 900. There was a day when the delivery percentage was 90 something in this area. I remember it, and then it just went 5x. Right. So use the 50 EMA uh, as your guiding tool. IDFC. All right. IDFC is good. IDFC is one of the strongest structures in the market. It's good. You can look for your entries. Orient Bell, today's candle. No candle is a concern in a promoter stock. This is not a concern. It's just dipping down. It will go back up again. Infibeam Avenues. You have entered at 40. All right. You entered at 40. When to exit? First of all, entered at 40. I'm not sure why, but let's see. So I mean, you should probably book something here. I don't really see it going far away because it has not participated for a long time. So you should not take the risk of holding for a long term. Um, Probably book something here, and if it dips down, buy that again. That is the strategy which you can use here. SDFC Life I had for long term. First of all, SDFC Life is a really bad chart. It's probably one of the worst charts in the market, right? So this was your demand, right? So first reaction, second reaction, third reaction, supply stops getting taken out. You exit. You see the supply right here, right? Same process again every time frame. All right. Demand, external demand, internal supply. All right. Then again, now it's bearish. It's in a downtrend. So there is no point buying this for long term. Don't buy the dip. You can buy much better stocks on the dip. All right. You can buy stuff like this. Look at this. Maybe something like, look at this. This is what you want to buy. All right. Next, previous supply gets taken out. Buy more here. Right. So it's pretty simple. You just have to buy and wait. Orient Cement. Let's check out Orient Cement. Orient Cement is good. Orient Cement is still good. The only concern is it's trading far from the supply. So let's see if there is any intraday activity. Right. So this is your area of demand. If this starts getting taken out, then exit. You can definitely look for longs in this. The chart is good. Maybe look for longs after the budget if it does not break out tomorrow. SW Solar. All right, nothing here. Nothing here. Avoid this. Probably again. Yeah, nothing here. Right, Reliance positional. Reliance positional. You can actually get in. You can actually get in Reliance. It's this is a great level to buy Reliance, as per the chart. All right. SDFC Bank. You want to long? There is no long in SDFC Bank. No. Avoid this. I think it's. Yeah, you see the supply is getting tested multiple times. Yeah, avoid this. No long in SDFC Bank. Check out some stocks and then we'll end the yeah, what was that? Yeah, this one. See again, this is how you can do long-term investing. You just wait for a dip till the 50 weekly EMA, right? Look at the last supply right here, and then start buying when the stock doesn't fall from the supply. If it falls after your entry, you exit below the low. Right? If it doesn't, it will give a big breakout. All right, another one is this one. Of course, a lot of people are in this. Let's see more. EIH also looks great. Look at this, right? So pullback doesn't fall from the supply, immediately moves 50%, right? So again, not a deep enough pullback here. Let's take out a few examples. Again, this one as well. I would like a deeper pullback, but still great move here. GMM Podler, okay, this is Inox Leisure. All right. So again, not falling from the supply, you can definitely expect some upside here as well. Right. GMM Podler again. I've also given this out on my Instagram. This is ready to break out big. So it was not bearish. Look at this. It was never bearish. This stock was never bearish. If people are so blind that they're going and buying here, then of course it can come down to some normal levels. This was never bearish. Maharashtra Seamless, you should hold it. You should add it at every dip. You should. It's good. Advani Hotels is also good. Good chart. Really good chart actually. So Maharashtra Seamless, I'm also holding it. This is really good. This is about to go. AU Bank as well. The weekly chart is actually great in AU Bank. It's breaking out. It was also on my watch. AU Bank is really good. You should buy this at a dip. All right. If it dips down, you should buy it. This is good. Manappuram Finance, again, nothing in Manappuram Finance. Don't buy the stocks which dip down. All right. You are always better off buying stocks which are in an uptrend than something like this. There's nothing here. Never buy this. How to select stocks for swing? You just download a watch list. All right. Any kind of watch list, download it from the small cap 250 or anything. Go to the weekly chart. Right. Go to the weekly chart and see which stocks are in a weekly uptrend. All right. So you see First of all, you'll have to know what are demand supply zones for whatever I discuss, because that is the basis of my entire analysis. All right. So this was the supply right here, weekly uptrend. So where is the weekly high low? This is the weekly high low. So this demand is holding, supply is getting taken out. You see these spikes above the supply. So you start buying here, right? You might get a big breakout. The stock might go sideways. That depends on the stock. But this is a proper process. Again, you see here uptrend, right? Weekly supply tested once. This is the high low, came down, went back up again, stopped falling from the supply right here, and then you got a big breakout till the higher supply. Now again, it's trying to do the same thing. All right. So a lot of things are still in an uptrend in the market, and this is definitely not what you want to buy. Um, a dipping stock, it will keep going down. All right. Again, same thing here. This is your previous demand zone right here. This is a 50 EMA, goes up again, right? So the entire what sector? Yeah, metal sector, auto sector. The entire auto sector is on the 50 EMA. You should definitely buy these. All right. If you're not buying auto stocks yet, you should. I think tomorrow we might see some big moves in autos. All right. They've been accumulating for a long time. Look at all this. Look at something like Maruti. Right. So we might see some big move in autos tomorrow on the upside. All right, Euro USD for an intraday move. All right, let's check it out. Right, so the bias was already shifted on the long side once this supply was taken out. So now there is no intraday long or short here. All right, I'd mark this on Friday, I think. Let's see on the lower time frame. So there was a long here at this demand. There was a long, expecting a move till this supply. Now it's done. So avoid it. There is nothing anymore here. India USD for long, yeah, I've discussed Nifty view. Nifty, the bias is on the long side, and the reference demand for that bias is this one right here. If you're taking a long here, it's a bit extended right now. All right, so a good long was somewhere here. Now it's a bit extended, so don't take it right now. But the bias is definitely on the long side. For a swing, on the previous weekly demand, if the stock holds the previous weekly demand, then you can enter. So suppose there is no perfect time to take a swing. All right, just make sure that the index is not extended. So if the small cap index has went up 15 days in a row, then you should not take a swing. You should wait for it to correct, and then you should see which stocks have come down to weekly demand zones. So suppose let's check out some. Right, so see this. So here there was a correction in the small cap market, right? This came down to the weekly demand zone right here, which made the last high, which is this one, and then it made a any kind of bullish pattern, basic pattern you can do for the time being. I cannot really discuss contractions here, it will take a lot of time. So any kind of bullish pattern, then you can take a long trade. All right, so wait for the index to correct if whenever you buy a stock, because that is the best time to buy a stock. What is this? Right, so you see this is also setting up nicely around the weekly demand zone. See something like this Suzlon as well. A lot of people bought Suzlon. All right. Um. All right. Cannot pronounce this. Probably Panic IPO stock. Yeah, this is good. This looks good. The structure is really good. Gold spot view. All right. All right. Let's check out gold. So in the last session, if you remember, I discussed that in the last to last session that this demand will most likely not hold, because it's just a continuation demand tested multiple times. So it's still downtrending from that demand. So the view is still downtrending. I'll just use a better chart just. Right. So I talked about this demand right here, right, and then this is the actual cluster of demand which led to the trend. So from here you can expect an upside move. You can definitely find your long entries in intraday. All right. So I mean, we are at a zone where we can buy it. Talking about a short term view. So, all right, we're spiking up. But remember, we're extended. So, don't enter longs here. Okay, and this thing can fail. Don't uh, ignore that as well. The proper entry was right here. Nothing else in this entire chart. All right. So, you just want to track from zone to zone. You will definitely be, I mean, you'll get much better doing this. All right. So Nifty view is playing out as discussed, and discuss something about long term as well. So that will be it for today, and I'll leave now. Make sure that you like the video so that more people can join in and watch the live. And if you're still there, then thanks, I guess. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good day.